everyone, welcome back to Be Yoga and Be Yoga's YouTube channel. My name is Lindsay Strong. Apologies for the long absence. Technology issues meant that we were on vacation. This is Nico, a foster puppy, if you can see him. But thankfully, technology issues can often be fixed, and here we are. I fixed it. We're back. And speaking of returning, I wanted to talk today about returning to your practice. When I moved away from the area and I moved to Minneapolis, my practice kind of suffered. And by kind of, I mean it did. I stopped practicing. For quite a while, I would practice pretty sporadically, but oftentimes I would just choose not to show up to my mat. There's a lot of reasons for that. There are a lot of things that made that my reality. But the important thing is not that it happened, but that there's always an option to return. There's always an option to come back to your mat, to come back to your practice, and find all of the wonderful things that maybe you thought you'd lost. Returning back to your practice can be and is an extremely humbling process. It reminds you that the reason we're stepping onto our mats in the first place has nothing to do with what we can do and everything that we can learn. I found that the deepest lessons that I've needed to learn, I've learned because I came back to yoga and I decided to reinvigorate my practice. Pretty recently, Gianna put up a post on Instagram in which she essentially said that there is no replacement for practice. If you want to get better at something, you have to practice it. You have to keep showing up. Your yoga mat is your place to learn all of the things that you need to learn. The yoga practice is magnificent and it's wonderful and it does incredible, great things. But often we forget. We forget why we stepped on our mats in the first place. We forget why we came to yoga in the first place. We get wrapped up in our ego, and that's okay. But knowing that this is happening is the first place you start to let it go. The one way we get better at showing up to our practice is to show up to our practice, even when you don't really want to. The best way to be better at showing up in our life is to show up, is to make the decision that this is where I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to do, and to put our egos aside, to let life humble us, and to return, even if it's scary, even if you're intimidated or you're embarrassed or you're afraid. The thing about yoga itself that differs from the people who practice it is that the practice will never judge you. You judge you. The practice will never demand you to be more than you already are. You do that to yourself. I hope, sincerely, that you can understand for yourself that this life is full and wonderful. And we spend a lot of time being afraid of it. We spend a lot of time worrying about whether or not we're good at it. That's not really the point. It's not the point of life, and it's not the point of yoga. It's not to be good at it. It's to do it. It's to show up. It's to be brave and vulnerable and open and admit maybe that you needed to be humbled. So return to your mat. Perhaps if you show up to your mat for the first time in a long time, or the first time today, you will find answers to questions that you don't yet know you have. Thank you so much for tuning in to Be Yoga and Be Yoga's YouTube channel. My name is, again, Lindsay Strong. I am your professional friend, your pal in Minneapolis. I hope to see you at Be Yoga sometime in the near future. Until next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Mwah. I feel like a real loser